That looks okay.
Perfect. Yep, looks good. And then Mike, if you don't mind,
Look at that. We didn't even have to go.
He said we didn't have to go what?
Didn't even have to go through the display settings changeover like we typically do. So.
Oh yeah, showing the wrong screen. See, I never run into that because I only just use my laptop. Life hack. One screen. All right. Looks like the participants have kind of leveled off. So I think we should be good to go. So everyone, appreciate you all being able to make the time to jump on this afternoon. For this week's Virtual Tech Talk, we're going to be going over our latest mid-range storage announcement with PowerStore, which is very different than pretty much anything we've done before in terms of storage. George is one of our PowerStore ambassadors and is a local SC out of Charlotte, and he's going to be running through the presentation. I don't think we're going to need the full hour. I just want to make sure we have the time. But George, if you want to do a brief introduction of yourself and get us kicked off, I think we're good to start.
Absolutely. So yeah, welcome and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Virtual Tech Talk. My name is George Benson. I'm a systems engineer supporting customers here in the Carolinas. I've been with the company for about 9 years now, overall 15 years of IT experience. So excited today to introduce Dell EMC's PowerStore, which is a brand new offering that solves a lot of today's data center challenges. All right, so let's get right into it. But first, let me provide some context and to highlight a couple of reasons why we brought PowerStore to the market. So we understand that data drives every organization, and even more data types exist now than ever, and from every angle too, right? Whether that's from the edge, the core, multiple clouds, SaaS providers. This is what we mean by the data era, and it's putting pressure on IT. Today, you may have multiple storage solutions to handle different workload types. But if you had to put your entire workload on a single platform, are you able to do that now? Efficiently? Is it a future-proof design? When business needs change, how quickly are you able to adapt with your current infrastructure? That is something customers were asking for, and was one of the things that we've aimed to address. Doing more with less IT infrastructure. And when we look at the operations piece, there have been new demands for operational simplicity. Silos of IT resources are not the preferred strategy for most, especially when it introduces complexity, cost, and risk in the environment. And also, when you look at the adoption of public cloud, it really has raised the bar for business agility. And IT is now expected to provide those same types of benefits and be flexible economically as well. And so you have organizations that are balancing the needs of data and operations, and they're usually doing so with multiple solutions, okay? And so if we look at the focused innovation to date, there are purpose-built arrays focused on data services, which are important. Every customer needs these. And so we then build upon these data services and incorporate this operations piece, right? Any solution has to have some sort of automation and intelligence built in. It definitely has to be simple and agile as you scale and as business needs change. And so as Dell Technologies, we believe a new architecture is required to bring all of these innovations under one data-centric platform. But we wanted to do so with real differentiation. We had to disrupt the market. Welcome PowerStore, designed for the data era, the future-proof platform for your data center. And so when we talk about PowerStore, there are really three key pillars that we provide our customers with. A data-centric design with intelligent automation built as an adaptable architecture. We're going to dive into each one of these. But first, here is the PowerStore family portrait. And as you can see here, we offer 5 different models where the only difference is in the compute specs. Everything else remains consistent between the models in terms of features and functionality. PowerStore comes with all-inclusive software out of the box. It's also customer upgradable and customer installable. All right. So in this data era, modern infrastructure must be built to support any workload with consistent performance and efficiencies and without any trade-offs. So let's examine each of these in more detail. So PowerStore is a unified multi-protocol platform supporting any on-premise or cloud workload, whether that's physical, virtual, block, file workloads, vVols, all sorts of apps as you see listed here. And you connect any of these apps using a variety of these protocols, whether using Fiber Channel, iSCSI, NVMe over Fabric, NFS, SMB, right? All under one solution. PowerStore had to be a data-centric design to allow our customers to simplify IT and consolidate a lot of infrastructure. And so in order to achieve optimal performance, PowerStore had to be architected from the ground up to utilize the latest in storage technologies, such as NVMe-based drives, storage class memory, flash. And so it's an active-active solution with end-to-end NVMe designed for 6 nines of availability. And here are some performance benchmarks compared to Unity XT, just so you can see the significant enhancements around performance that have been made thanks to this new architecture. It is a scale up and scale out platform. So if you start with a single appliance, you'll have 2 nodes or controllers where you can start with a minimum of 6 drives, up to a total of 4 shelves in an appliance. And when you scale up in capacity, you can simply scale in single drive increments until the entire appliance is filled up, never having to purchase a fully populated drive shelf or scale in RAID groups, really providing unmatched flexibility. And when you need to add even more compute or additional capacity, you would simply add another appliance, up until 4 appliances total, 8 active nodes. And you can even mix and match appliance models within the cluster, and they don't have to have the same drive count or even the same storage media. So you can have one appliance with storage class memory, another with NVMe, flash, etc. So this combination of scale out and scale up capability really enables storage and performance to be tailored to individual customer environments. And also, once you're in this platform, you'll never have to forklift migrate again. You would simply add a new appliance, remove the old after you natively migrate the data with the built-in tools. And so really this provides a lot of flexibility. You can also scale down the cluster. Say you have, 4 appliances. You want to repurpose one appliance, separate off as a different cluster or at another location, you can do that. Now, in order to bring down the cost of flash media, efficient data reduction is key. And PowerStore provides always-on inline data reduction without any compromise to performance. And we're able to do this by embedding hardware acceleration utilizing Intel's Quick Assist technology. So this hardware offload capability allows you to conserve main CPU cycles for storage I/O. It doesn't matter if the system gets very busy, these data services remain on all the time. So never again will you have a trade-off with data services for performance. And under our future-proof program, we can guarantee a 4-to-1 data reduction ratio for mixed workloads. Again, highlighting consistent storage efficiency without compromise. Let's now talk about the intelligence built into the platform. So gone are the days when automation meant specialized programming skills like Perl, Python, scripting. With PowerStore, you'll be able to plug in to leading DevOps frameworks, whether that's vRealize operations, Kubernetes, Ansible. So we empower your developers to treat the system like code to automate storage provisioning processes using the workflows and playbooks, which then results in rapid deployment of resources, ultimately reducing risk in the environment. So PowerStore is very developer friendly. It can be treated as programmable infrastructure as code. Again, this was something that customers were looking for. How can they program and automate provisioning? When we look at the autonomous features, so we know that admins may get bogged down with any sort of workload migration between appliances, load balancing, issue resolution within the cluster. And so PowerStore resolves that with AI and machine learning features. For example, as you add an appliance, the new resources will automatically be discovered, creating a cluster. And then with our machine learning engine, the system will make recommendations on proper workload placement based on capacity, performance, and the health of that appliance. And this machine learning engine runs on a continuous basis to ensure your workloads are on the appropriate appliance at all times. So this built-in intelligence eliminates dozens of time-consuming tasks and decision points. Intelligent insights with Cloud IQ. Cloud IQ is the fitness tracker for Dell EMC storage. It's a no-cost cloud-native application that leverages machine learning, again, to proactively monitor and measure the overall health of your storage systems, where you can anticipate when you will run out of capacity, for instance. It will detect any anomalies, if you're meeting your RPO requirements, and then it gives your array a health score based off of these metrics. And there's no software that you have to install with this. It's a simple plugin within the PowerStore user interface. It even comes as a mobile app for on-the-go access. And you can add your fellow Dell systems engineer as a trusted advisor for an extra set of eyes in your environment. Okay, let's talk about the adaptable pillar here. And this is where it starts to get very interesting and highly differentiated, unlike anything else in the market. So PowerStore was built upon a container-based software architecture known as PowerStore OS. Within this container are microservices. And with the use of containers, it enables our engineering teams to modularize PowerStore, the PowerStore software stack into separate logical entities. And what does that mean? Think of system resources like CPU cores, memory, block and file services, monitoring, etc. These are all assigned at the container level, which then provides predictable performance and a lot of flexibility. For instance, we can upgrade certain features since they're in containers without having to reboot the entire appliance. We can innovate faster by adding features as containers much quicker than we could traditionally. And it also provides higher fault tolerance and security since the microservices are contained from everything else. But this is the foundation to everything that we've been talking about and what we will be in the future here. AppsON. This is a revolutionary feature. So PowerStore gives you the ability to run VMs on top of VMware's hypervisor directly on the appliance. It comes with ESXi installed, depending on the model you choose. And so as you see here, you have the PowerStore OS running as a VM alongside any other VMs you may wish to run. Now, you may be thinking, this sounds a lot like hybrid converged. And it's very similar. When you look at HCI abstracted the storage and brought it into the compute layer, right? No need for a physical array. Whereas PowerStore, we're abstracting the compute layer and layering it on top of enterprise class storage, reducing or eliminating server footprint. This is a groundbreaking capability, and it's really unmatched in the industry. Nobody else can do this. So let's talk about some of the use cases and how this could be a fit in your environment. So starting at the edge, for instance, you may have several branch office or retail locations where compute and storage requirements are minimal. And so here in this environment, in this example, they're running some IoT apps running directly on top of PowerStore without any need of a physical server. And they're collecting sensor data or streaming data out in the field, right? And this can be deployed as a small 2U appliance, right? As I mentioned, it's customer installable. So for several remote locations out there that really don't require a lot of infrastructure, that would be a great use case. And again, you can replicate this back to the core. And if we look at some of the core use cases, think normal infrastructure apps. But really where this shines is data-intensive workloads that require low latency and high storage performance. Okay, so think SQL, Splunk, analytical apps, Hadoop, etc. It's excellent for these types of workloads. Now, we can agree that the majority of VMs out there are going to be general purpose, right? Let's say 80% out there. But that 10 or 20%, they're data intensive. That would be a great use case for something like PowerStore with AppsON. And surely, any modern platform needs to be designed with the cloud in mind. For those VMware customers who are looking for a hybrid cloud with operational consistency on and off-prem, VMware Cloud Foundation is supported with this, where PowerStore customers can easily integrate their on-prem infrastructure into any of these cloud providers here without application refactoring or costly migrations. So since PowerStore is a software-defined architecture with the tightest VMware integration, it really becomes the easy button for workload mobility between private and public clouds. And when we look at the deployment flexibility, you can deploy this as the standalone appliance here, as we were talking about. You can also deploy this as a converged offering or model known as Power One, which is essentially your data center in a box. And later this year, we're going to be introducing the software-defined version of PowerStore. Well, this would run as a VM on top of a server. So think of, if you wanted to deploy this in a cloud and you wanted to replicate to the cloud using the native PowerStore replication, that would be a use case. So a few deployment models here for different scenarios. Now, you can further future-proof your investment with the Anytime Upgrade program. Customers have multiple options to upgrade and enhance their infrastructure. So in this first scenario, you can upgrade your existing appliance from within the same family, right, with newer and faster hardware or controllers, or to the next level up appliance, say from a 1000 model to a 3000 model, or using the scale out option, which allows customers to scale out their existing environment with a second appliance that's equal to their current model. And so these controllers would be free. You would just be responsible for the storage media associated here. Again, it would be a minimum of 6 drives. And so we provide these options here to protect your investments in the storage media for longer periods of time, right? Since the storage is the majority of the cost in the solution, this gives you peace of mind and investment protection. So if we look at the bottom here, these are the 3 big differentiators from other upgrade programs in the market. We provide more flexible options to upgrade. The upgrades can be done anytime in the contract, as opposed to waiting a year or 3 years, as other vendor programs do. And there's no renewal required when any of these upgrade options are performed. So it really is the most flexible upgrade program out in the market. You combine all that with multiple ways to consume your investment, whether that's with Flex on Demand, where you start with the total desired capacity day 1, but only pay for what you use as you grow into the solution. So capacity is paid for only when consumed. Data center utility model, where it's a true cloud-like consumption model or pay per use. And so all of these are operational structured models that help organizations to predictably budget for IT spending, okay? And so really, to summarize it all, PowerStore is a software-defined, container-based platform that is data-centric, allowing customers to consolidate diverse solutions that will host any workload, delivering high performance and efficiencies without trade-offs. It's built with intelligence and analytics to automate infrastructure that is adaptable with game-changing capabilities of running VMware's hypervisor directly on an appliance. And with its flexible deployment and consumption models, it's no question that PowerStore was designed for the data era, the future of mid-range storage. Thank you again for your time. I hope this was insightful. Please reach out to your local Dell account team or me for further information. Back to you, Nate.
Fantastic. Thank you, George. So everyone, I'll be posting this one and sending it out as well. So if you want to go back through and watch it again, or if you want to send it to any of your colleagues or anything like that, by all means. But again, appreciate the time, and everyone stay safe out there.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
take it easy.